Hello, hello, good people. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Make America Think Again with Vaughn. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for being here and coming to the page and coming to this channel and supporting this channel. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Down below, you have the correct spelling of my name. My IG information is there, and my Cash App is there as well. If you'd like to donate and support the channel, please do. It would be greatly appreciated. And also, right now, stop and subscribe to the page. Subscribe to the page and then like and share any of the videos that you believe somebody else needs to hear. Whether that's family, friends, coworker, person who lives next door to you and won't listen to reason, share the videos, please. Okay, so all right, it's time to put those thinking caps on, and I'm going to give you the information, and I want you to use your critical thinking skills, and I want you to use your deductive reasoning, and I want you to think about everything that I'm about to give you, all the information I'm about to give you. So I'm going to start first with the Ohio Immigrant Alliance. Okay, this information came from the Ohio Immigrant Alliance. If you all don't know, Frank Figliuzzi is a former FBI director. That's where I got this information from. He's also a MS Now contributor. Some of you, if you watch that media outlet, you've probably seen him there. But the Ohio Immigrant Alliance, they studied they did a deep dive on 59 of the ICE folks, okay? 59 ICE agents. And they said deep dive, but seriously, all they really did was look a little further than Tom Homan and his people have been doing. They went into the family court records. That's what they did. And what they found from looking at the just 59, just 5-9 of the ICE agents, looking into their background and seeing if they had any connection to the family court records or had anything in the family court records. And what they found is out of the 59, 85% of these individuals had committed sex offenses. 85% of the 59, not 50, not 60, 85% of the 59 had committed sex offenses. 2/3 of that 59 had committed offenses against children, sex offenses against children. So I can only imagine if they looked at 100 ICE folks, 1,000 ICE folks, 20,000 ICE folks, 100,000 ICE folks. I wonder what the numbers would look like if they took a larger pool of people to investigate. Now, today, we also found out that overnight, you know how the felon likes to do things, or actually not just the felon, the entire MAGA party likes to do things in the middle of the night, especially on Fridays. Well, what the felon did overnight is he and his family, his sons, and I'm quite sure Ivanka is, somewhere in there, or her hubby. They decided to develop their own crypto bank, their own family crypto bank. Now, how does this connect to the other information that I just told you? What we found out in the Jeffrey Epstein case was that money was being funneled through, and Epstein was being funded through several different banks. JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and Deutsche Bank were just 3 of those banks, okay? That has now been documented, and it is in the Epstein files. These people have already come in to testify in front of the Oversight Committee. one of the members of Congress actually participated in a 60 minutes expose on the banks that were connected to the Epstein crime syndicate. But the Ellison family, because they bought out CBS and they put one of their minions over the station, over CBS, she held the 60-minute story about the banks that were funding and funneling money to Epstein. She killed the story. That's why we have not seen it yet. So that information is out there. That information is documented. You can go through the Epstein files and you can find these banks in there. You can find, matter of fact, Jess Staley, who is actually, there are allegations against him in the Epstein files of actually participating and harming some of the victims that Epstein provided. He's the one that's connected to the girl at the time who was dressed like Snow White, girl or young woman dressed like Snow White. Okay, if you've seen those pictures, if you've seen that information, that's Jess Staley. Jess Staley was at JP Morgan Chase. He was the contact for Jeffrey Epstein that was at JP Morgan Chase. So not only were they funneling the money through their banks, but some of these bankers were participating. Okay, so now hold that information. Now that it's been documented, now that it's front and center for the public, and like I've told you, I personally believe they never stopped. They never stopped, and that's why they won't investigate these people. Because to investigate these people on what happened in the past will bring up information that's currently happening. So I believe that this crypto bank has been put in place to just help them facilitate taking the Epstein crime syndicate underground. Now that the public knows about these banks, we got to go to a source that it has no restrictions, it has no guidelines, and it has no checks and balances. And how do we do that so we can keep this money flowing? Keep all of these trafficking rings going and the money flowing. And how do you do that? Crypto. So I'm not saying that's specifically what they are doing and why this bank was developed. Well, what I'm saying, in my opinion, there's a strong possibility that is why. Because I don't believe this shit ever stopped. Okay. So now take that information, take how many sex offenders have been hired by the icy folks. And now you have the creation of this bank. And I want you to tie that information into the fact that all these children, Black and brown children and women, are in these detention centers right now. And there were some videos over the past week or so that somehow have been, they've been able to release from these detention centers. And these women that are in these videos are talking about being sexually assaulted, not being given medications, not being able to, shower and clean themselves, different things like that. The men are speaking out too. There's another video that came from one of the male detention centers. I believe that one was in Louisiana. But what do you think is happening to these people? With the information I just gave you about the types of folks that are being hired by DHS to work for the icy folks, and now the establishment of a crypto bank. So all these transactions, these financial transactions, can be underground now. Cannot be researched, cannot be monitored, cannot be regulated. And then you have the constant kidnapping, snatching, whatever words you want to use, of Black and brown people off the streets. What do you think is happening to these young women, these young boys and girls? What do you think is happening? Is this not the perfect storm, the perfect situation for them to continue to do what they have been doing for years now? Years. The Epstein survivors that we see in the media every day, these women, some of them are in their 40s, early 40s, their 30s even. That's how long that we know, just because we have some witnesses now, how long they have been operating this crime syndicate, this human trafficking, child trafficking, sex trafficking, whatever you want to call it. That's the minimum amount of years that we are aware that it's been going on. But now that this information has been brought to light, I believe they are trying to find ways to continue it, to keep it going. And the establishment of this crypto bank is just one of the pieces of the puzzle. This continuous hiring of sex offenders is another piece of the puzzle. This continuous snatching, grabbing, kidnapping of Black and brown people off the streets is another piece of the puzzle. That's what I believe is happening. And all you have to do is just use your critical thinking skills and your deductive reasoning and see how these things, these systems are working together to take advantage of and to victimize more and more people. And here's the last thing I'm going to leave y'all with, because there's some people out there that still believe that this is just limited to Latino people, to brown people, to immigrants even. Here's the last thing I want to leave you with. Just this past week in Memphis, Tennessee, the police and immigration officers, I believe it was last Sunday, police and immigration officers showed up to it appeared to me, because there's video, to be a predominantly Black nightclub establishment. They showed up to this nightclub. All I saw on camera were Black people. Showed up to this nightclub, locked the doors, trapped the people inside, and refused to let them leave until they could check every single person's ID. In Memphis, Tennessee, a Black nightclub, they trapped the people inside until they could check everyone's ID. I want all my Black people, dear Black people, I want you to let that sink in. So if you're still sitting back and thinking, oh, this can't happen to me, I'm just going to stay in my little bubble, I'm going to continue to do my own thing and not worry about what could possibly happen to me, because I've been here. We're 4 or 5 generations American. These were American Black people in a nightclub who were trapped inside by law enforcement and immigration until they checked everyone's ID. I'm gonna let you sit with that. I'll talk to y'all soon.